Next, on Community Conversations, Duxbury Senior Center Director Joanne Moore sits down with AARP State Director Jennifer Benson.
Hello, I'm Joanne Moore, and I'm the director of the Duxbury Senior Center, and I am so pleased to be here today with Jen Benson, the State Director of AARP Massachusetts. So Jen, thank you so much for being with us today. We want to learn more about AARP and this thing called ADUs, which I know people are asking about. So could you tell us a little bit about what AARP is doing to work locally and with older adults in Massachusetts?
I would love to, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to be here. So AARP Massachusetts is really working on a lot of different levels to be present in community. And one of the issues that we really pushed for last session was legislation to allow ADUs, or additional dwelling units, by right in Massachusetts. And so that legislation was passed, and now we're working with cities and towns to make sure that the local control aspects of that are moving forward seamlessly.
Interesting. And so how is it going?
It's going really well. We have been through what we call livable communities, which is the part of our office and AARP as a whole work toward making every community more accessible, livable for all ages. And through that work, we've been in many communities providing information, presentations, and really helping the public understand what an accessory dwelling unit is and how they can help with their senior population or others in the community.
So an accessory dwelling unit, is it always attached to your house, or what does it look like?
No, it doesn't have to be attached. It can be a freestanding building on your property. It can be a floor or an added floor to your house, or it can be an attached wing off of your house. So it can be any of those things.
So why is an ADU important? I know I feel like we live in an expensive state, but is that the basis for it, or what are you seeing around the country?
So the reason AARP supported it is because for many families, they would like to make sure that elders in their family get to stay at home or stay close to them. And there are lots of community supports that can come in and help, but in a lot of ways, for families that are busy and working today, having someone co-located but with their own private space seems to be a great option. And this concept isn't new. People have been doing in-law apartments and other things for many, many, many years. But this is a way to ensure that the regulations are in place statewide, and so everyone has access based on the size of your lot, has access to doing this as an option.
And in Massachusetts, I'm not sure if this is correct, 900 square feet is the maximum, or half the size of your home?
That's correct. So, one of the issues with ADUs is that many communities had prohibitions on multifamily dwellings. And so we really wanted to make sure that this was an option for more people across the Commonwealth. And the hope is, if this is built out, we could gain 10,000 living units here in Massachusetts to help with that affordable option for families, even though it is expensive. Mm-hmm. This is not a simple thing to do for a family, but it provides those layers of both caretaking assistance and living close to home.
Yeah, which is really great. And I was talking to someone who did an ADU just recently, and it was for their adult handicapped child, so that they have an independent type living situation but are close to home. So that makes all the difference.
Adult children, other members of your family, you have an aunt or uncle who need help, this is a great option for them. So it's not just your parents, it can be any member of your family that either would like an option to be close to home, needs a little extra help, any of those things. What we're also seeing as a scenario are families who are aging, and they own the family home, but maybe they want to say, you know what, we'll let our daughter or our son take over the family home and we'll move into an ADU so we get to be close to the grandkids.
Which is a win-win.
Yeah.
So question, in the United States, where did you start seeing ADUs pop up first?
They have been lots of different places. And like I said, the idea of an in-law suite or even a freestanding house on your property is not a new idea. This has been going on for a very long time. But this has been popular in the Pacific Northwest and other areas across the country where this idea of having a more unified approach to accessory dwelling units rather than trying to get local approvals for an additional apartment or additional space or subdividing a home, it just makes it a little bit easier across the Commonwealth.
So have you seen a lot of ADUs out there so far? Any examples?
There is a lot of interest across the Commonwealth. I think, as you've said, you know someone who just recently built.
Right.
I think there's a lot of people looking for different designs. That's been very popular. The other thing is a lot of companies are now coming out with like a standard set of designs.
I saw that online. It was
Yeah.
really amazing. Like I was saying, it was like the Northeastern or the Midwest or,
That's
Pacific
right.
West.
And it already encompasses the regulations and the allowable size and knows what Massachusetts generally will allow. So you can hire someone or pick out which design you like and they'll adapt it to your lot or your home. That way it really reduces cost on hiring an architect to design something, which of course you can do.
Right.
But getting one of these sort of sample or model ADU plans, makes it a lot simpler.
And it's amazing, 900 square feet seems small, but when you see the pictures, they're really quite lovely and
They
a
are.
lot of space and well done, that they've taken into account everything possible that you need, but just made it smaller.
Right, and 900 square feet is actually, if you think about it, a small, maybe ranch-style home that has 1 or 2 bedrooms. I mean, you can find houses that fall into that. So this is not a crazy little tiny studio apartment. This is a really fully functioning home. It's bigger than my daughter's apartment in downtown Boston, I can tell you
She
that.
might want an ADU in your backyard.
Yeah, she may.
At some point. So if you wanted to build an ADU, like where do you start locally? What do you do when you go to your town?
Yeah, well, first you want to make sure, what has the town put in place. So every town has their own planning department and zoning board of appeals. You want to know what the local zoning is. So when this law came into effect, each city and town, they can put some parameters around it, but they can't ban it outright.
Okay.
And so it depends on your lot size. It depends what the setbacks are from your property limits. It depends on what kind of design you want. But one of the things you can do is go talk to your planning department. Find out, what are the regulations in town? What can you do from a planning perspective that would be allowable? What is the zoning where you are? And then start looking from there. Once you know that, you can hone in on the style of ADU that would work best. If you have a very small plot, lot, you may not be able to have an external ADU, but you may be able to add a level on your house, for example, or finish off a section of your house. So there's different options depending on what your current setup is.
Perfect. So how are you seeing a lot of them around the Commonwealth? I mean, this only came into effect in like January or February.
Yeah, we
What's
are getting
happening?
reports all the time of people in various stages of planning or building their ADU. I will say, one thing this legislation did not do is provide a funding source. So this is like building a home or building an apartment. It's costly. We're hoping that there will be some sort of programs put in place to help, whether with low cost mortgages or something to help stimulate building ADUs, because we have a housing crisis.
Right.
This is a great opportunity for families to be together, but still be respectful of each other's boundaries. And so one of the biggest barriers is cost.
So if, as an advocate or someone who wants that, should we reach out to our local representatives, and what should we say?
Yeah, so your local state senator, state representative. I was in the legislature for many years, so I know it's really important to hear from your constituents. If this is something you'd like the legislature to look at and pursue, absolutely. I think it's important for them to know this is great, but can we build onto this program and really make it more feasible for more people?
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing all this great information. I mean, I think ADUs are a perfect option for some people, maybe not for everyone, but there wasn't an option before. And so anything we can do to help that housing shortage is really a wonderful thing for our communities.
Absolutely, and this can be an affordable way for families with their aging loved one to come together and design, plan how to pay for it together. And yeah, it can be a great option for folks.
Well, thank you for coming here today and sharing this wonderful information. And if anyone who's watching wants to learn more about ADUs, a great place to go is to your planning department, it sounds. And how about, is there any information on AARP? Like, where would they go on your website?
Yeah, so if you go to aarp.org/MA, Mass, you will find information from our Livable Communities work, and there'll be information there on ADUs.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing the information, and I hope everyone finds this really helpful.
Great. Thank you for inviting me.
We are so glad you stopped by. If you would like to support Community in Action through media, please consider donating to the local scene. The QR code here will take you where you need to go. Thanks, friend.